It's Eric Andrist at the Henry Levy House. It's Tuesday, March 4th at about 10:11 p.m. I just got back from the Oxnard City Council meeting tonight, and there was a moment tonight that was a little infuriating considering I spent all morning long fighting with the Oxnard Building Department over my permit for an ADU that's now reached over 500 days and they still haven't approved it. This morning, Jeff Pingilly, who is the, let me see what his title is here. I can't remember. Public Director, Community Development Department. I don't even know what that is, Community Development Department. But he basically called me a liar. Last week, I went into the building department for a meeting with the inspectors that had supposedly been scheduled, but was told that there was no meeting to happen. And I was speaking to the receptionist and said, well, can you look it up to see if there's a meeting scheduled? And she got real huffy with me and said, well, what's your permit number? And I said, well, I don't have anything with me. My contractor was supposed, to meet me here, and he has all the permit numbers and everything. She says, well, I need a permit number. You're going to have to go home and get it. He said, you've got a computer right in front of you. Can't you just look it up by my address? And she starts huffing and puffing, and then she, starts typing like it takes 7,000 characters to look up my address. And she finally pulls it up and she says, I don't see any meeting listed. Anyway, long story short, I conveyed this to Jeff Pingilly in the city of Oxnard, and he basically wrote me back and called me a liar. He said, I have to push back on your other statements. No one, in capital letters, in our department told you to, quote, go home and look up the permit number yourself. That simply did not happen. Front reception staff look up permit numbers routinely. Nearly every other customer asks that question, and furthermore, anyone speaking to a customer like that would not work here. The receptionist's interactions take place in front of numerous other staff and customers. It could not have played out as you described, knowing the staff we have here in this department. Well, clearly he doesn't know the staff very well, does he? Because I was there, and that's exactly what she said. What would I have reason to make that up? That would just be ridiculous. She's not even a party to my permit. She's just the receptionist. I was just trying to find out about a meeting, so why would I lie about it? But he's clearly lying here. No one in our department told you that. As if he was standing right there and heard the conversation. I assure you he was not. He was not privy to that conversation, nor was anybody else. It was the receptionist and me. So he called me a liar. So then tonight at the city council meeting, there was a whole brouhaha over city treasurer Phil Molina being, removed from office, and then he went to court, and the judge told him they had to give him his job back, but now they're taking away his responsibilities or his ability to do his job. And the city council tonight voted to uphold the ruling that he had to have some of his jobs things removed. Well, anyway, there was people in the audience who took offense to this, which is certainly their right. And a couple of them got heated and called names and stuff. Well, Gabe Teran had to take offense to that, and he had to reprimand people. So I'll play you tonight what he said, and then let's see how two-faced it is, because he's probably not going to stick up for me with Mr. Jeff Pingilly. Let's take a watch.
Look at the motion on the table here. There is mention of Measure L, which I'm glad it was mentioned because I had it in my notes as well. And I believe this is a really great example of a street going both ways, where it was questioned, I was certainly a critic of Measure L, and my personal opinion, I call it Measure L, as I think the voters spoke decisively about.
Okay, wait a minute. Did he really just do that? What is he, 12?
And my personal opinion, I call it Measure L, as I think the that takes away my personal feelings, proud feelings tonight of having Women's History Month, when we are questioning the motives or the intentions or the integrity of someone, of a woman who had the courage to put on paper and sign her name to it about her experience working in this city under this particular individual. And incredibly offensive and poor form, in my personal opinion.
So once again, he's taking down some people in the audience, members of this community, who had an opinion about a woman who testified against our city treasurer in Oxnard. They have every right to voice that opinion. And now he's on the dais as a councilman representing the people of his district, giving his personal opinion and trying to make people feel bad for their own opinions. That's not his place. He's not the moral hall monitor. Where does he get off? Okay, wait, I have something more to say on this topic. A few meetings back, Gabrielle Basua, is that how you say her name? Went off on a tirade too, trying to make people feel bad for comments they had made during the meeting. And then proceeded to give her personal opinions on all of it. The Supreme Court has ruled, and I'm going to read this, so pardon me. The Supreme Court has ruled that when some cities have tried to silence the public with disparagement clauses, it was unconstitutional and violated the First Amendment. The U.S. Supreme Court explained this core democratic principle in the New York Times versus Sullivan 1964 writing of our profound national commitment to the principle that debate on public issues should be uninhibited, robust, and wide open, and that it may well include vehement, caustic, and sometimes unpleasantly sharp attacks on government and public officials. That's what our Supreme Court said. When a person decides to run for public office, they need to accept that this is going to happen. And they can't sit up there on their laurels and on their moral high grounds and criticize the public for trying to hold certain things accountable. It's just wrong. So now, on top of this morning, Gabe Teran sent me an email at, I think it was 5:35 a.m. this morning, doing that very same thing to me. In his email, he said, let me find it here, pardon me for a moment. I will not stand by idly if you are going to use disparaging or abusive language towards city staff, be it leadership level, frontline, or anywhere in between. So this is over the fact that I took Jeff Pingilly in the building department to task for lying to me and called him out as a liar. He goes on to say, Mr. Pingilly has provided the information that was requested, and it is also relevant info that I am gathering in trying to work with you on your concerns. If you have doubts or additional questions about what he has provided, there is nothing wrong with asking. But to state or imply that our staff is lying or that they are apathetic in their work is uncalled for in this dialogue. Really? So if I have evidence that an Oxnard city staff member has lied to me, I'm not to imply or call them out? I'm just supposed to let it go? Just to satisfy Gabe Teran's morals? It ain't going to happen.
And if we're going to question, well, penalty of perjury, what does that even mean? Well, then why would anything matter? Why would we believe anything that Mr. Molina said during the course of this litigation? Why should I believe anything the speaker said? They're not under oath at all to come up here and speak. They say whatever they want. What makes me believe it? And so at some point here, we have to look at, what are we questioning these things for? There's a higher level here, signing something under the penalty of perjury. And again, full credit to Miss Ella Mary for speaking on that and putting her name on it and having it be on the public record. And the last things here, Mr. Runyon brought up about human behavior. Absolutely. And this is why in the previous meeting at 3 something in the morning,
Okay, so here he goes again. Phil Molina, the city treasurer, is sitting in the room. Gabe Teran is now going to proceed to take him down again. He's already admitted that he did this at the last meeting, and he's going to do it again now in full detail, berating Phil Molina in front of him and in front of his peers in the room. But Gabe Teran thinks that's okay. But I can't call a known liar with evidence of lying a liar in an email. Seems a little disingenuous and two-faced to me.
Mr. Molina being untruthful over email, of Mr. Molina having, I don't know, some kind of personal grudge against some member of the public who parked in his parking spot. I don't know what would have happened if he had gotten that person's information.
Oh, that's nice. Now let's just speculate and make things up and put ideas in people's heads.
Can you imagine working here and saying, I have to be careful what I say, I don't want to interact directly because I don't want to end up on an email targeted at me, BCC'd to members of the public, to all the staff, belittling me for my job, my performance, or something I got right or wrong, or whatever the case is.
Well, too late, Gabe. As long as you and any other council member feels the need to call members of the public out and try and make them feel bad for having opinions about things and trying to hold the council and the city accountable, I'm going to call you out like this on social media. So be prepared.